Is Gucci, everybody. I haven't made a video in a while, so I came home real quick on my lunch break to film something. This is a video I kind of wanted to do since I put out the first VSCO editing tutorial, which seemed to get a lot of traction. People seem to like that. So I kind of wanted to do a part 2 and follow it up with a black and white editing tutorial. And I usually really don't edit in black and white unless there's like a heavy contrast between like the foreground and the background, or the subject and the background. As you can kind of see in this photo, my buddy Israel, he's kind of wearing all black. And the background where we're at is actually the PATH station at the One World Trade Center in New York City. It's like an all-white subway station. It's really cool. If you're ever in New York and you're into minimalist photography, I really recommend that you visit there and take some photos. Super dope place. So in this sort of situation, there's not a lot of color existing already, so I'm just going to go ahead and convert it into black and white. Usually my black and white editing process is a lot quicker than color editing in color, just because there's not as many factors, not as many variables. So basically, if you watch the first tutorial, the first thing I like to do is turn the brightness all the way up on my phone so that I can really see the details in the photo and make it as accurate as possible. Next thing I'll do is head over to the presets. I'm not sure if they come standard in VSCO, but you can probably download them for free, because I sure as hell probably didn't pay for any presets. As a matter of fact, I can tell you that I did not pay for these, so I'm not sure if they come standard or if you have to download them for free. But they're called B1 and B5. B1 is kind of a brighter, less contrasty. I guess it gives you more range. I'm going to use B5 because you can kind of see the contrast. The darks are a little darker and the lights are a little lighter. So I'm going to stick with that. And then I'm going to head over to the little wrench here. And if you don't know what all these mean, watch my first video. All these little buttons here, I kind of explain them a little bit more in depth. First thing I'm going to do is, I don't really think I need to add any exposure. I think the photo is pretty well exposed. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my contrast. And I really like a lot of contrast. I really like to pump the contrast. And I kind of want to pop the subject in this photo, Israel. I want to kind of make it look like he's popping off of the background. So I'm going to pump that contrast so that there's a lot of separation between him and the background, just with that contrast. And I kind of like how 4 looks. I think that looks good. I think 5 would be too much. It is, and I think 3 would be too little. So I'm going to stick with 4. I'm not going to mess with the rotation or cropping. What I am going to do is hit this triangle. This is the sharpening tool. And if I zoom in, you can see that it's a little out of focus. It's a little blurry. So the sharpening tool is really going to help to kind of tighten that up. Usually 2 is enough to kind of really make it look good, because once you kind of zoom out, you'll see that it looks perfect. You can't really tell beyond that. So I'm going to keep it there. I'm not going to really mess with saturation. There's no color to saturate. Not really going to mess with highlights. I really want to keep those highlights or those bright spots as bright as possible, or as light as possible. I'm not going to really mess with the shadows. There's not too many shadows, maybe some around his face, but I kind of think that gives it character, so I'm not going to mess with that. Obviously, you don't have to mess with temperature, tint. Some people will add grain to their black and white photos just to make it look a little bit more, I guess, old school or something like that, but I kind of want to keep this photo as clean as possible, so I'm not going to mess with that too much. The next thing I'm going to do, and the final thing I'm probably going to do, is just add some fade. I kind of want this photo to look like I printed it on some sort of newspaper or something like that. So I just want to add a little bit of fade, give it some mood, kind of give it that vibe. 4 looks good. It might be a little too much. 3 looks good to me. So I think I'm going to keep it locked right there. And I'm just going to kind of review it, make sure it looks good, everything seems to be fine. And like I said, on a photo like this, especially in black and white, I didn't really have to do too much. And a lot of that is just exposing the photo correctly when you're taking it initially. So make sure you're exposing well, make sure you're exposing for the type of edit you're wanting to do. So that looks good to me. And like I said, that first VSCO editing tutorial I did got a lot of buzz, and a lot of people really enjoyed that, and it helped a lot of people out, so I kind of wanted to follow it up with this one. And with that being said, if you have any other questions or you have any other photography topics that you would like for me to kind of expound on or kind of to demonstrate, I've had some inquiries about long exposure and doing light trails and stuff like that, so I definitely want to make some videos about that. Videos about it, and let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Preach.